What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. This is the Fanduel show. I'm BobbyFi, back with my man, Eric Sheetshaber. We are going to be going through position by position on Fanduel, and we've already talked over our DraftKings show, so check that out. Please give us the like, the subscribe. Means a lot. And Sheets, you ready to get into this?
I am, as usual. It's a little different, isn't it, than DraftKings?
It is. It took me about 20 seconds to build a lineup, though, right after we got off. When we were done with our DraftKings show, I was making a list of guys who just stood out as being better prices on FanDuel. And, man, is it easy to do whatever you want to do over on FanDuel today. Like, it sort of has switched places with DraftKings. Remember how DraftKings for a while, it was like you could just do whatever you wanted, even in baseball or whatever. And then in football, anything. Now it's really becoming stricter. It's becoming tougher on DraftKings sometimes, and then easier to pay up, obviously, on FanDuel because there's just a lot of missed prices.
Well, before we get into it, whenever somebody says that, the way I would respond is, if it's easy for you to do it, then it's easy for everybody to do it. So
we're not doing this.
Yeah. All right, sounds good to me. You want me to share?
Yeah, let's share your screen, and we'll get into we'll start off with the point guard position. Well, before we do that, let's just talk real quickly. This what you've got already here is sort of what I'm really not avoiding. I think it's so easy to get both of them in. I like both of them tonight. And I think there's a lot of things you could run back potentially on the other side versus both of these guys. I don't think you have to build with both of them there. There's some other good value at small forward, which we'll get into. But I do think that those are the two guys who stand out as the most obvious plays, along with Bobby Portis at center, who is going to be the chalk. So we can differentiate in those spots, or we can play those spots. We'll talk about pivots, and we'll talk about other top plays as well at each position. So we're going to start off with the point guard spot. Sheets, how many guys do you think you're looking at point guard?
I have a lot.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I have literally 1, 2, 3, 4. I like 6 guys that I have, and the thing is, what I am going to try to do, even though ownership might not be the biggest deal tonight, I am going to continue to try to be pure and try to find the guys that are the lowest owned, the guys that look kind of the same. And again, if you can find guys that correlate with the rest of your lineup, that's great. So, boy, it would be nice if I could just go ahead and pay. Hey, look at this! I could just play Luka along with LeBron, and believe it or not,
you can do it.
I bet you can do it.
You can definitely do it.
I bet you could do it.
It's pretty easy to do.
Shit. We'll get back to that idea in a minute. But aside from him, I mean, Trae Young looks to be a really, really good play. But the first guy that, again, I just wanted, just because he's kind of FanDuel specific, I guess, is Malcolm Brogdon. Now, again, we tried this a couple of days ago, and he ended up being scratched. So it's possible he gets scratched again. But he looks to be a very, very good play. And, again, if you want to play LeBron and Giannis, paying down certainly makes some sense. And again, if you played Luka, you can make it work. But as you'll see, there's probably some decent plays that, you want to spend up for, where you don't want to have to spend only $4,500 per remaining player or something like that. So let me put Brogdon in for now, but there's Luka, there's Trae. And the next guy that, again, I don't know how owned he's going to be, but because of the Miami news, Dragic, I think, is a very, very good play here as well. So he'd be kind of like my next I don't want to say my next best play, because I do think Luka and Trae are both, really, really good plays. But I think the combination of ownership and, just trying to be a little flexible with my salary, I think that Brogdon and Dragic should be my next best. Is there a sizable gap between that and the next bunch? Probably not. Dinwiddie would be my next guy. So I'll just kind of stop here and just let you kind of pick it up.
Yeah, I totally get the Luka and Trae. I get both of them. Right now, I mostly have 2 guys on that I'm playing the most of, and that's Brogdon and Lonzo. Lonzo is, to me, the easy, one of the easiest plays on FanDuel. I'm going to have a ton of them. And I love Luka at this price. Like, if you just compare him prices worth versus these guys, I just hate the matchup for him, considering, he's still going to be great. It doesn't really matter. But with the ownership matchup and then build considered, I think I'm preferring to spend down a little bit, but I do think you'll have some Luka in my lineups. I also like De'Aaron Fox. And then I would go to, I mentioned Lonzo. Elf Payton, I think, makes sense over here at 5.9 after we talked about him and you were high on him on DK, and I think he makes sense over here. Sadaransky, I could see getting behind. I'm not saying I'm going to play these guys. These are just the other guys. Obviously, if there is no Brogdon, I don't mind playing Aaron Holiday or playing Kendrick Nunn at 4,300. You've got a lot of ways you can go, and if there's no, Bradley Beal, we could play Isaiah Thomas at 3,800. That sounds pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? I know the minutes aren't great, but it's a lot of usage in a good matchup for even only 26 minutes or so. Ish Smith at 4,900. Again, if no Beal, that's the other option. There's a lot of ways to go, but for me, I'm mostly focused on Lonzo, Brogdon, Payton, Fox, Young, and Doncic. But mostly it's Brogdon and Ball at the moment for me.
So again, what I stress when you build these things is to always keep in mind, even though you're going position by position, is seeing if you can't find some correlation, when ties need to be broken. And, just again, we threw out some names, and if you are going to start with LeBron and Giannis, it seems to make sense that if you're between Fox and someone of a similar price tag, for example, that maybe Fox might be a little bit better, only because, again, you get that extra correlation with Giannis. And also you mentioned Trey, if you were going to play Trey, maybe at the shooting guard position, we might want to go with Beal if we weren't going to go with him already. And also, if we were going to go Brogdon, maybe if he were appropriate, they'd be more inclined to go with a Zach LaVine at shooting guard just because of the correlation, even if he might not be as great of a play. So again, even though you're going position by position, you still want to keep your overall construction in the back of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot of really good point guards that we named, but I didn't mention Dragic, but I do like Dragic as well. There's a lot of ways you could go here, and it's just it's a matter of picking between those guys. And I told you the ones I prefer, partly because I've got a nice little, almost like accidental New Orleans, New York stack, which I kind of like. So that's probably also another reason why I'm giving another edge to Ball. There's also one shooting guard. So here's my thoughts. There's 5 shooting guards that I think are all terrific spend ups, and 2 really good plays in the mid tier. One a way too cheap guy in the lower mid tier, and then a bunch of cheap guys who all make sense. It's a really bizarrely loaded position because of the underpricing, in my opinion.
Well, at the shooting guard position for me, if in fact Beal is in, to me he's I don't like to use the word lock, but he's kind of clearly the best play.
He's my favorite play first, without even a hesitation, if he plays. But I just look at the guys around him.
Yeah, I hear you. And again, if he plays, I'm just not convinced that the ownership is not going to catch up. I mean, he just kind of has to. I mean, at that price, especially, especially considering how much cheaper he is on DraftKings. I wonder what your thoughts are on this. So let's say you have a situation where, let's say Beal. What is Beal on DraftKings?
7 on the DraftKings 86.
Right. So let's say he's 86 on DraftKings and FanDuel he's 76. So I guess this is my hypothetical question. Is he a great play on FanDuel, or is he just a bad play on DraftKings? Now, I use Beal as an example because Beal could be a good play on both sides. But I think that people can get a little frazzled. Just because someone's just much more expensive on DraftKings than FanDuel, that doesn't mean he's a great price on FanDuel. It just means that he's better on FanDuel than he would have been on DraftKings. He could be a lousy play on both sides. You know what I mean? So I do think that
no, the normal Bradley Beal at 86 on either site would make perfect. 92 would be about where he should be at.
Okay.
Probably on each site actually, not around 9K in this matchup specifically, maybe 88 to 92, somewhere in that range. But I don't mean, look, we have an injury. He generally, when he plays his minutes. He doesn't miss minutes, even in blowout seemingly. I don't know. Well, I have a hard time.
I was making an overall point, not necessarily just Beal, just in general, when you have a discrepancy in sites, just because, let's just say, I can't come up with a good example, but let's say that someone's a bad play on both sides, okay? But because he's cheaper on FanDuel, people will play him because he's cheaper than on DraftKings, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean he's a good play on FanDuel. It just means that he might just be an atrocious play on DraftKings. All right, well, exactly. That'll be it for another time, I guess.
No, I totally good point.
Okay. So other shooting guards, and the next guys that I have, it's a whole clump. If you want to know the truth,
There's tons.
and it depends on what price.
Position.
And it depends on what price you want to go to. Like, if you want to stay at like the 7K-ish type range, these are guys that I really didn't even like too much on DraftKings, like Donovan Mitchell. I thought was a pretty good play here. Jimmy Butler remains a good play on FanDuel. DeMar DeRozan, who you liked a little more than I did on DraftKings, but he looks to be a really, really good play here on FanDuel. And then if you want to go the other route, which, you know, a lot of people are going to do, is you could go to Delon Wright, who
you missed one and a half guys, though, that are incredibly priced.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, Buddy Hield is 6,200. That's a awesome play.
Okay.
I'm not going to play Devontae Graham, but 6,800 does have me just like poke my head up. If there's no Beal, Jordan McRae 6,100. That's a much better. I like the pricing percentage better over here. Lou Williams 62, Kevin Huerter 57. These guys are all logical. I think we need to try and figure out a way to rank them. Then we've got the lower tier, which we haven't even gotten into.
I would say that, again, this is just my opinion. I would say, given everything, Beal is the top, and then I would go Butler and DeRozan would be my next two.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would go Beal, Butler. I'm still into the Devin Booker thing. I just think, and that's also the one position that you can sort of attack Orlando with, is the shooting guard. I am having trouble with it because for me, I am going down at my other shooting guard spot because I'm paying up at my small forwards. But if I was gonna be going I'm looking down a lot. But if I was gonna be going up only, I think I would go in order of preference, just a Beal, Butler, and then I would say not quite up, but I would say then Hield.
Okay.
Anyway, and then in the bottom tier, you've got, these are all playable guys. Jeremy Lamb is 4,800. That's ridiculous. Delon Wright, 4,500. Terrence Ross, 4,400. Extra minutes and everything. Jordan Clarkson's even 4,400, and I'm not going to play him, but it's just worth noting that all these guys, and even Josh Hart, who was chalk at 200 less than this the other day, and actually was fine. They're all in play. For me, I'm siding with Delon Wright a little bit, just because I feel like the price is, he should have to do enough in this game. One of he or Tim Hardaway Jr. has to probably help out a little bit against this Laker team, because it can't be all Luka. And you've even got JJ Redick at 49. I mean, RJ Barrett at 5K. It's really tough. So I'm going with a little bit of each, but mostly it's Delon Wright and Terrence Ross for me at the moment. I'm not sure that's right. I think I just need to dig a little deeper. But I feel very good about the spot for both of them. So I'm not overly worried about it. It's just, are they more optimal than Lamb if I'm playing Brogdon? If I'm not playing Brogdon, I think Lamb becomes a better play, just because it's not exactly the best correlation to have those two, although they are both crazy cheap.
I'm not convinced that somebody you said is not a really good play. I'm kind of into Jordan Clarkson here at 4,400. I didn't realize he was so cheap. Just as again, if Delon Wright and Terrence Ross, I mean more Delon Wright, like really just eat up a lot of ownership or whatever at that price.
They can't. They just can't.
Yeah, I guess not.
I mean, one of them can, maybe there could be a trend, but like it's hard because not everybody's going to do that. Like, there's a lot of guys worth playing, and if that is what people are going to do, then I do think we pivot and we spend up over here. If we want to speculate on Anthony Davis being out, we could go double cheap at point guard with Rondo and Isaiah Thomas if there's no Beal. I mean, it's like there's a lot of ways to go about this. Like, you can do whatever you want on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to rank the guys for you, and that's the way I've got them ranked as of right now.
Okay. And again, I hope you don't mind. I mean, the way I want to rank them is not necessarily by like tier by prices. I just kind of want to just
however you want to do
about my own values go.
Sure.
All right. So small forward. Now again, I plugged in Giannis and LeBron, but I mean, there doesn't mean you have to do this, right? They happen to both be, really, really good plays, and I mean, obviously, if Davis is out, I mean, it's kind of rough to not have him, LeBron. You're definitely going to want to, I mean, on FanDuel, you're going to hope that there's no news, I think, if you play LeBron. You get a little bit of, and then if in fact Davis is ruled out, you have an enormous advantage. And if he's not ruled out, then you still have a tremendous play. You know, so he looks really good. Giannis looks really good. So those are, even considering price, those are my two top plays. And then you go, if you want to go down, there's a couple of things you could do. So similar to DraftKings, Brandon Ingram looks to be a really, really good play. And if you're going to play some Knicks, like if you're going to play Portis, like we're going to get to a little bit later, or if you wanted to go, like you were saying, is maybe a Barrett or somebody like that, or Peyton, then it makes a little bit of sense to play Ingram in this spot. And interestingly, I guess on FanDuel, he's popping as a much better play, even with Beal in. Troy Brown Jr. at 5,700. Boy, that's a
great spot.
It's gonna be a low home spot for sure.
Yeah, I am interested to see what. Yeah, he's gonna be low owned if Beal's in. If Beal's out, he's gonna be high owned for good reason.
Yes.
I mean, I actually think he's totally in play.
Yeah.
More so than McRae. Like, he can do other things, and on FanDuel, he's always been a better player for the situation anyway, because he can get steals and stuff. I don't know that I'm gonna end up going with it, but I do think that without Beal, he'll definitely be in my lineups. With Beal, I don't know that he'll make it a bunch because, like you mentioned at the beginning, see, for me, this is a very easy position. You play the Giannis or LeBron, and then you play one of TJ Warren, Harrison Barnes, Tim Hardaway Jr., and that's pretty much it.
Okay, so let me just throw in just a couple of other monkeys in the wrench. I think that just as good as those guys that you mentioned are Joe Ingles, Dorian Finney-Smith, maybe. I mean, if you're going to play that other stuff. And then Rudy Gay in that game environment, maybe, 4,100. Or if you want to go play each one more?
I don't think there's any way in the world you could play Dorian Finney-Smith here.
You don't think?
No, not at 40. If he was 36, I don't think you should be playing him.
Okay.
Maybe at 46 you can make it some argument. But, he can get you 20. But, I mean, the guy literally has been over 30. What's his career? Twice in his career?
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to go there.
What about Rudy Gay at 4,100?
It just seems, why would we play a guy with 20 minutes? Like, when Hardaway
is only at 30.
You know, why wouldn't we play? I'd rather play Glenn Robinson than those guys. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You look at each one more at all?
Yeah, but I just feel like, okay, then why am I playing each one more over Tim Hardaway Jr.? Why am I playing each one more over Glenn Robinson? I don't really have a good reason, and I don't really love any of them enough to where I think you need to, each one more is going to be another one of those guys. It's going to be around 20-something. He's not, if he hits a bunch of threes or something, but Tim Hardaway's going to be jacking up threes all night. Each one more is going to be there to play defense and run the offense, run a little bit of the, stand in the corner offense, basically. Glenn Robinson.
You think Ingram and Troy Brown are going to be low enough owned that I can really just make my player pool just 4 players in the small forward position and just have
I don't think
Giannis and those two?
I'm not that interested in either of those two. If assuming the deal plays. I mean, again, I like Troy Brown fine. I think he's an okay. I just don't see the reason to get all this creative on this small forward side. I feel like it's really easy.
Okay.
And I feel like TJ Warren is that interesting pivot off of the Ingles thing you talked about. So I sort of like that.
Okay. Yeah. Am I just going to play these two guys? Well, we'll see.
I'm just going to be playing. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I don't currently have lineups built without them as my small forwards, but I'm going to make some. I just haven't done it yet. I like Giannis. I think we like Giannis more than, or at least I do, more than most people do in this spot.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think that he's becoming a little bit forgotten about because of the gaudy way that Luka and Harden put up numbers, and because he'll get overlooked if Davis is still questionable, let's say at lineup lock, because a lot of people will play LeBron. So I just think that he'll get ownership. Don't get me wrong on FanDuel, but he's not going to have. Well, he won't on DraftKings much, and I don't even think it's going to be as crazy on FanDuel as it should be.
I think he'll be. I think that if Davis plays, I think that Giannis will be higher on than.
We don't know. We may not know if Davis is playing though. If it's unknown, people are going to play LeBron.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I agree with you in that fact that I think that when it comes to like for shooting guard, like all these different options, even point guard, I can find so many ways to play. I just when I look at the small forward, just after those two guys, you're just kind of reaching, I think.
Yeah, it just feels like why are we doing this exactly to ourselves when we just found a position that we can literally go with 15 different guys and let ownership and probable game theory, like game logic, and then potential mini stacking involve those will be our final decision makers. That's the way I want to look at that. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Why did I not like Zach LaVine at all on FanDuel?
I really like him. I don't know. I like him everywhere.
Okay. I just didn't. It was so funny when I was going through I guess just because Beal's price just stands out so much.
There's too many good shooting guards, but that's the only reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to power forward, where the ownership in power forward looks to be I guess a little constant. I don't know. Like the three owned guys, as of now, just one of the places to look at. It looked like Aldridge and Kawhi and maybe John Collins, maybe or Markkanen or Allen, maybe. But these are guys not. And then there's Bam, Thaddeus Young. So let me just look and see. That's just from an ownership perspective. Let me see which of those I actually like. And we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to talk about this Kawhi thing. There's definitely game script issues, but he looks to be a pretty good play. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play him in a lineup with both. If we're going to spend all this money here, I'd probably find a way to do Luka if I was going to do something like that. But Kawhi at 9,400, I'm going to just put him in here now just because he does grade out to be a pretty good play, presuming he gets these minutes. Again, there's all kinds of game script risk involved in this. But the next guy is a clear one for me is Bam. Bam at this position here looks to be a really, really strong play. And then again, to rank them, the next, I guess I consider these next three tied. I mean, Aldridge, Allen, and Collins. So there's nobody really off the board here that I'm really too interested in. What do you think?
I really like. I don't like. I won't have any lineups with Kawhi in tonight. Yeah. I can promise that, unless something weird happens, like I might accidentally misclick or something. I think Bam and John Collins are the better plays at the higher end, and along with an unowned LaMarcus Aldridge, who's probably going to put up 45 fantasy points. I like LaMarcus Aldridge in this matchup, and then I get into this is where I think you want to be if you're playing the way that I'm playing anyway. You can play Lowry at 59. Don't love it, but don't hate it. Don't hate PJ Washington at 58, which is weird because I don't like that game, but I think he's going to get minutes no matter what. And then Draymond at 58. That's like one, and then Draymond at 58, and then Jared Allen at 55. All of those plays make sense to me, but where I'm ending up is Bielitsa at 4,800, Kleber at 4,500.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Kuzma at 4,400, assuming that we don't know what's going to happen with Anthony Davis. Kem Birch at 3,900. These are the guys who I'm looking at. And then I'm looking at taking a wild shot on Harry Giles again at 3,700, even with Bagley back. And then, by the way, even in limited minutes, that's the other guy we have to consider. Like, I don't care. If they say he's got a 28-minute limit, let's just say Bagley.
Okay.
If it's 28. If it's 28, he's the best play at power forward, and it's not close in my opinion. But if it's less, Bielitsa, Kleber, Kuzma, I'm just finding all over my lineups. And Gafford, I think, makes sense too.
Well, Bagley at 28 minutes, I might lock in.
How do we avoid it, right? Like,
yeah.
How is he not? I mean, because it doesn't mean necessarily. Actually, it probably does mean he would play in 28 minutes. It almost makes him blowout proof. Like, it's weird. But we would need to really know that they're going to do that. I mean, it's been a little bit too long, probably. I don't know. It hasn't been that long. It's been a couple weeks. I don't know. It's hard to avoid at 5K.
Make your case again for Maxey.
So Maxey, here we go. This is a very simple argument that no one's on. First of all, Maxey's going to be 0% owned on every single slate. And I just want to point out that since Porzingis has been gone, Maxey has been at 30, has put up 32.8, 32.3, 32.8, 15.9, and 28.9. Had the one down game against Chicago. By the way, a blowout. The only thing that worried me was the 23 minutes only against Denver, but part of that was blowout. Part of that was foul trouble. Otherwise, you had 35, 30, 30, and 34 in the non-blowout games. And they won those games. I like Maxey here. Like, I just feel like he's going to keep playing and getting the minutes. I know the matchup sucks. They need to play big. That's the other vital part of this. If Davis does, in fact, play, or even if we're just speculating, the Lakers are going to be big. So I sort of like playing the Kleber angle. You play Kleber assuming Davis does play, and the funny part is you could play at 4,400 Kuzma assuming Davis doesn't play. So it's kind of a funny thing. But I initially prepared them together, and I thought that's definitely not optimal because I'm playing Kleber in part because as bad as the matchup is against Davis, it just means he's on the court more. So, and even if not, though, like I cannot see Kleber playing less than 24 minutes in this game, and I think it's really more realistic to be over 30. And look, you got a guy at 4,500 is going to get you. Who else is going to get rebounds? Dwight Powell, him, and Luka. That's it. That's all who's going to be there. That's all the big guys they've got. So I think he's an interesting guy. And then I do like that weird Kuzma play. And then in the interest of also talking about why I like the big on big thing, I think that's why you take a shot maybe on Kem Birch here. But thinking because Phoenix has been playing two bigs lately, it feels thin, but we've seen this guy put up monster games just like the last time out against Washington. I know that was a blowout, so it's a little bit hard to trust. But he could be a wild card play that could pay off.
Well, since you brought it up, I mean, you know who else could get rebounds?
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. He can get rebounds. I mean, I don't know if he can get rebounds from the bench, but.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's just take a quick. It doesn't seem natural that you try and play Boban again. I mean, like, it's not, like
you can't do it on FanDuel, can you? I mean, like, you just can't.
You definitely can't do it on FanDuel, I don't think.
Okay.
But you could probably do it on You could probably consider it on DraftKings. It just feels so ridiculous, like super ridiculous.
Okay, but with all the analysis that we do, explaining why, that everybody needs to play big against LA and.
But it's different. Like playing big against Denver would be a better situation for him because they're big slow. Like it's not like Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee are bad athletes. Like these guys are both dunk contest guys. Like they're not like you know what I mean. And then you got Anthony Davis, the other one. I mean, Anthony Davis being arguably like at least the third highest leaper of the three.
Yep,
that's pretty wild.
Okay, so
Bjelica is the play in my opinion.
Bjelica. Okay, I'm getting kind of into this Fox, maybe speculate on Bagley with the Giannis. I don't know, maybe this is
there's something there.
This could be some fun. Man, it could be frustrating.
You can do on FanDuel, I just want to point that out again. Like you don't have to correlate your players, but in FanDuel, when we have so many players that we think of as similar, one of the differentiators may as well be to have them paired with your players. That just makes logically the most sense. You want it to go back and forth, especially if you get the right positions, the guys who are handling the ball. DeLon Wright will have some ball handling responsibility. So playing him over Josh Hart with LeBron James makes some sense. Playing Bjelica or Bagley instead of Kleber or Kuzma against Giannis makes some sense. Playing Bobby Portis or Mitch Robinson at center makes some sense when you're playing, Lonzo, and you're also considering maybe paying down for one of the minimum knocks or whatever's, which I'm not going to do, but certainly is like, no, I can't do it on FanDuel. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, if you did Bagley or Bjelica, one of them, okay, it could be interesting. And obviously, I think your Kleber play is like I said, especially on a site where you could find like some really good plays at 3,800 and 3,900, 4,100. No one's going to go here. So if you get like a 30-pointer out of him, even. At this position, I think you could be in business.
I think so too.
And like you said, I mean, just you make. When I said make your case for Kleber, I thought you said I don't need to make a case. Just pull this up and look what he's done. 32, 32, 32, 20. You know what I mean? Like,
but throw it in with the playing big also. That can only help.
Yep. Okay. So center, I think there's a couple of ways you can go. So the easiest way to go, which might be the correct way to go, is just pay down to Bobby Portis, eat the chalk, and just kind of like be on your way. And that is certainly, you know, I don't want to say optimal, but it probably is. Okay, but that is definitely one way that you can play, and I'm not going to kill you if you did that. Just keep an eye on Davis news, because if in fact Davis is ruled out, I think that McGee you'll see that he's going to end up projecting to be just as good of a play as Portis. And I don't know how that's going to translate to ownership. It depends, I guess, when the news kind of comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind again, like kind of a wild card Fanduel McGee play in like the $7 tournament. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Before lock, just in case or something like that. But you could explain to me why it's better to play Rondo in that situation. But it's like same type of idea.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you could do is the exact opposite, is just go all the way up to Vooch, who looks to be, you know, in a tremendous spot, looks to be a really, really good play. Actually, you know who looks to be just as good, at least for me, as Vooch might be Gobert.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I mean, Gobert actually might even be better. I don't know. So again, like if you wanted just to skew that value, which looks like really, really good value, it is still the Knicks, so you just never know. You want to go all the way up to Gobert and Vooch, that could certainly be a way to go. Again, if you really wanted to be sneaky, you do something in the middle, like Montrezl Harrell or somebody like that, or Mitchell Robinson, as you were kind of alluding to earlier. But I mean, the easy play is going to be Portis. Maybe sometimes it is just better to just make the easy play. But if you didn't want to do that, you could do some McGee nonsense or go all the way up to somebody like Gobert.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that for me, Vooch, it would be Vooch.
Okay.
Or I'd go down to Joe Val. I actually like Harrell quite a bit. And I think Mitchell Robinson, this might be the game that people wanted the other night or last night. Why not him instead of Portis tonight? I know it's a different type of player, but like New Orleans, you get a team that can give up a lot of stocks. We know what Mitchell Robinson's good at. It feels like the kind of spot we should be targeting him. I'm just going to, point it out there. So let's put it out. His last time, similar pace teams. Against Atlanta, he played 29 minutes and put up 45 fantasy points. Didn't have a big game against Washington because he didn't play. Just looking for games he played against fast-paced teams that tend to do the same types of things. No, there aren't very many lately. So you want a good game environment for a guy who's going to have no ownership after being somewhat popular last night on DraftKings. I think Mitchell Robinson's an interesting play at 5,400.
Let me ask you a question regarding this slate. This kind of might be asking for it, but how bad would it be? Probably answer is pretty bad, but if you did a lineup or a build where you did a full, AD out kind of thing, like you did McGee, you did Rondo, you did LeBron, who you might do anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Kuzma. Now, I don't mean that you necessarily have to play all these guys, right? But you play a couple of them, and you play them hoping for only if there's no news. You know what I mean? Like, or obviously there's news, they're going to be good plays, but they're going to be owned, especially the Kuzma piece, right?
I'll tell you what I think you'd have to do if you're going to do that.
Okay.
I think you got to play Luka then on FanDuel, not on DraftKings, but on FanDuel because of his price. So I think you'd have to take out Beal and Fox and put in him.
Okay.
And we know that even if you don't play Beal, like, look, at 7,600 we love the price, but we're going to have a great pivot. I mean, look, we can play RJ Barrett, we can play just to have a different build and play JJ Redick and put, hope to get our 25 to 35 there.
Right.
With this other weird lineup. So it'll leave you with plenty of options if you get rid of Beal there. And also you could move up to 44 and 4,500 guys. There's a lot of ways you could play at shooting guard that would make this still a very viable lineup. The only thing that you're also betting on in addition to that in this lineup is the Bagley thing, which is a little bit tough.
Right. Well, I just mean just kind of in general, the whole idea of like playing these Laker guys on spec.
I like it. I don't know that they all get there anyway.
That's what I mean. But maybe like do something where you make a couple lineups with Kuzma, a couple lineups with McGee, maybe a couple lineups with Rondo or something like that.
Yeah, I think I would probably. Yeah, you could do I think 3 of them would make more sense. But I do think it's an interesting way to go. One thing that always worries me with the Lakers is they keep getting they get these weird outlier performances from all these shooting guards. Like Bradley had a big game before, and then you'd have KCP, and then you'd have Danny Green, and it's just like there's not really rhyme or reason to it. It's just LeBron finding open shooters. So I would try to find a shooter to play with them, but they don't really have one. So it's a little tricky. It's just a little tricky to figure out. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to go.
I have to tell you what's annoying me now. I mean, and you're gonna have to be my therapist on this because the way I started this is started DFS. I really just started off just really relying on projections, and whenever I'm just completely fading something that looks good in projections, even though I think it's probably a good idea to do so.
What's the
thing? Kind of bothers me, but I'm looking at freaking Kawhi at 4 freaking % ownership on DraftKings and whatever it is,
Man, I encourage you to trust your gut. Look, he's not like he's like terror. I just don't.
But it's not even trusting my gut. It's like the opposite. It's like if I do this, I'm just kind of relying on projection, not trusting my gut. It's really just strange for me. So he's just not a guy I play in GPPs really that often.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is he going to get you that makes you so happy? Like,
yeah, I guess
he can get you 60. Like, if he has an unbelievable game where they really need him. If you're playing him though, like, don't you kind of want to then I have all the reason. Then I have to play Draymond or something, or D'Angelo Russell is only 7K. Right. I have to do something just to make, because how are they going to keep it close? Like, and it has to be close. Like he might put up 55 and 3/4 and people will be going, oh my God, if only he would have played the fourth. And we're like, yeah, they're up by 55 points. Like, what does it matter?
Right.
All right. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful, guys. Please like and thumbs up. Sheets, final thoughts on the Fanduel slate, which is obviously we are talking about guys who very differently than we were on the DraftKings slate.
Yeah, I think that my next thought is that what might end up being contrarian is not jamming both these guys in and doing one of those middling bills that we talked about on DraftKings even and paying up for Booker, like you said, and paying up for Levine or whatever, or playing Beal with one of them and paying up a little bit, maybe even for Vooch. Now you're kind of asking for it. Now you're fading not only Portis but also LeBron and or Giannis. So you're kind of asking for trouble. But maybe that's the contrarian build then is to go some middling thing. I got to really work this out.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. I would say that I want to leave you with one thought, everybody. Just remember that the Lakers are not the same defensive team if Anthony Davis doesn't play. They're still a good team. They have one of the best defensive coaches in recent basketball history. Like, in my opinion, he's turned everybody into a very solid version of the best defensive version of themselves. But if Davis doesn't play, it changes the entire lane being open. It makes Luka basically a much, much, much stronger play. So just keep that in mind as Sheets goes through his Dallas Laker game stack, because that's a really fun game to watch. Who doesn't want to stack it? Over on DraftKings, really hard to do, but we can do it on FanDuel.
Well, I meant more. You talked about being able to play Luka, LeBron, and Giannis in the same lineup. Yeah. So I was just kind of randomly, just kind of throwing in like value guys that we talked about and see if that actually.
Throw Cleaver in there. Get 3 Dallas guys in. Let's go.
Does it naturally work out that way to be? Well, the point is that
you play Bielicha. You got the Bielicha scoring 45 fantasy points while Giannis puts up 70. Beautiful. Everything's in business. Then you you can't quite throw Lonzo in there, but you can throw Josh Hart to have the big game opposing Portis. There's a lot of ways to go. You can also throw and then you can throw Rondo in. It's beautiful.
Yep.
I love it.
All right, sounds good.
All right, bud. Well, hey. For Sheets, I'm BobbyFi. We will talk to you guys later. Give us all your feedback. We will be around on Twitter. Ask us any questions because there will be late breaking news. And I'm going to tell you right now, Bradley Beal he's my favorite play on FanDuel. I really think paying down at small forward is the one thing that I don't see myself avoiding in pretty much any lineup. Anyway, for Sheets and Bobby, good luck.
Wait. Isaiah Thomas is 3,800. All right, we're done. That's it. Enough of the slate. Okay.
Yeah, it said Isaiah Thomas. You can play Isaiah Thomas and Rondo for all the money in the backcourt. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.